Live from the podcast rooms in Glasgow, it's all about the Gers with Ricki, Neill, Derek Ferguson and Charlie Miller.
Hello and welcome to All About the Gers. Not the best of weekends. In fact, I don't even know. I wasn't even wanting to do the show today, to be honest. But guys,
it's been tough, isn't it? It's still raw, still there. Can't get it out my head. The overall the performance, Ricki. I mean, it was. I didn't. Do you know something? Because in the big games, and certainly in Europe, I didn't expect that. But it's just the manner and the way we get beat. Our biggest rivals. It's a hard one to take. So that's what I'm saying. It's a wee bit. We're mumping and moaning here, but I think sometimes we're allowed to do that because it's all about performances on the part, and we simply never turned up on Saturday.
Do you know, Charlie, when I seen Kyogo, that first challenge with Lundstrom, a good, strong, fair challenge. Yep. But see, when he goes off, I was thinking, yes, that's a boost for Rangers, but we never turned up.
No, it was very poor. It was the worst since last February, definitely. And it was just the exact same game again. Put the boy Tillman, it was a shame. I think you have to be there longer and don't just throw him in these games. Mm-hmm. I know he's got great ability in that, but we have to be hard to beat first and foremost because we know they're coming out firing all guns blazing in the first 30 minutes. You know what I mean? So we have to match up with that the first half an hour. And then we have to be hard to beat. We have to be hard to beat.
Charlie, play him in his right position.
Oh, of course, if he's the striker or whatever. Mm-hmm. But you're playing him out wide where that Jota's flying down and Tav wants to go past Tillman and then there's space for fun there. Mm-hmm. I've got to bang. Arfield's got to be in there, definitely. But this is going to hurt until the next time we play them, definitely.
We needed legs in there, going there. Wait, and Charlie's right, he's pointed out they are flying at the minute. There's no denying that. So when you're going there into that cauldron, and you're up against the way they start games, they come at the traps. So you need to match that, and I think you need to match that with pace, with energy. That's what I'm saying, with good legs, and I just think we didn't have that. And as Charlie's saying about Tillman, you don't play that boy. He's probably never experienced a game like that, but at least play the boy in his own position. He's played there, I think, once wide. I'm not sure what game it was, but he's not as effective. But we needed legs.
But the thing is, we're struggling for centre backs. We've got James Sands at the back, right, who's done great. Don't get me wrong, he's done very well in the last few weeks, whatever he's played there. But if we keep Katic, for instance. Katic can play with Goldson, and then you get Sands in the middle of the park next to Lundstrom, who's got legs, who gets in about it, who can go and tackle. He's a fit boy who can go and play in his own position. I just don't get the Katic situation. He must have been really, really come back terrible for him not to get a chance to show what he could do.
I don't know what Sands was wanting Jota's top for after the game. Did you see that?
No, I know.
I know maybe I shouldn't bring stuff
Sands
like
wouldn't have been playing for me.
It's just after it, when you've suffered, it's humiliating. Whoever you're up against, the nearest opponent in a Celtic, shake his hand and then just go off the park.
I know. I mean, there was pictures out there as well that Sands and that were out.
I've seen them.
I don't know if that was true, but
I think it was the American manager, was it no?
Something the US coach was over, but
but it's a hard one to swallow, as I say, for all the punters when they see that, absolutely they go off their head. It's like just in our day, you suffered a defeat to Celtic, you don't go out the house for the next week or 2 weeks, but different times
until you get one back.
And that's that, and until such times, but. It's going to hurt more than that, that's for sure.
Where do you think it all went wrong, Charlie? Is it Gio's tactics or what?
I think they just played too open. They played too open, but obviously there was the first goal. Kent, it was a throw into Celtic. Kent's trying to beat a guy in our right back area. Just play it up apart and then get us up. He's trying to beat the boy. Then he's complaining about it was a free kick throw into Rangers, but it wasn't. He? And then he turns his back and shouting at the referee for Kent making his own mistake. And don't get me wrong, they get the break of the ball when it just hits Lundstrom and the falls right into the path of Abada. Could McLaughlin have done better? Maybe. But if he does do better and he saves it, Barisic is on his heels as well, and Giamakis has just got a touch into the back post anyway. But also the second goal, Kent again, him, Lundstrom and
three of them, aye.
three of them. But Lundstrom was actually trying to go back into position, but turned his back in the ball where he shouldn't have, and the other two just stopped. You can't do that because you know what they're doing. They're getting the ball, bang, throw-ins, free kicks, and just getting it, playing it. We've got to be in position where we just don't let them do that.
Do you know what?
You heard the manager speaking after the game and speaking about the first two goals and the way that the players were warned in terms of quick free kicks, quick obviously throw-ins. You know, you've seen with the ball boys.
Aye.
So, for that point of view, you know, when we concede the first, when they have switched off, Charlie's talking about it, and it wasn't just Kent, there was a few of them that switched off, moving up to, you know, the quick throw-in. But the manager as well, I think, you know, he's got to show. Listen, now, if you've give the guys the instructions before the game, you know, you at least expect them to carry them out, right? And if they're no
100%.
carrying them out, Charlie, get off your backside, get to the touch line, and when there is a wee break in the play or whatever, get to the nearest player and get the message onto them. And if he doesn't want to hear it, get your message across. Show that anger as well, because it's like me coming in here tonight and you're asking me to do something specifically, right? And if I don't do it, I don't think you'd be too happy, right? So if I was a manager and I'm trying to put myself in his position and the boys are clearly no switched on, they're no carrying out the instructions, get to them, get into them. That's what it's all about.
But we lacked legs. We really did lack legs
Charlie,
in the middle of the park. And Big Lundstrom does get about and he tries his hardest. Wee Davis, great on the ball and whatever. But we couldn't get near them. It was the place so open.
But see when we actually got the ball as well, we totally lacked
I
ideas.
felt sorry for Kolak. I really did feel sorry for Kolak. Barisic was our best player. Barisic, I thought.
No, defensively.
I didn't think he's fault for any of the goals.
Do you know something?
I don't think he's at fault for any of the goals.
It need to take an absolute brilliant performance here for Barisic for me. I can't forget, you talked about February. February, mentally, he went. And I know that's gone.
I know, but for February to then, I thought he'd done really well.
He put in three or four good crosses.
Big Haley would have vetted him up.
But defensively, I still don't think he's at it. Same with Tav.
I thought he'd done actually all right.
No, I wasn't impressed with it, I'll be honest with you.
I thought Barisic was the only one for me.
Do you know what I find strange? Sometimes you'll get a game where maybe one or two players just aren't at it. But nearly the full team just weren't there.
Right. And then the second goal as well, Tav's got to tuck in or even let Goldson know. It was touch and go offside, but I know. And then Big McLaughlin, he makes Jota's mind up for him. Coming out of it, it was either if McLaughlin stays in his line, then he has to try and hit it hard across goal or something. But then he makes it easy for him. But it's a lovely finish, don't get me wrong. But McLaughlin makes it easy for him, which was disappointing.
Defensively, we're all the shit. I mean, Tav, you know, why is he away wide right? You know, as he sees Jota going across him, he's got to get in. He's got to match that run. And I know you're talking about Golson. That's a communication, but that's part of defending, Charlie, as well.
100%, but it all comes for the quick free kick. Every part of that comes for the quick free kick because everybody else isn't in position. Somebody's just standing in front of the ball. Just stand in front of it.
It's schoolboy stuff.
It was embarrassing, wasn't it? It was.
Well, it is embarrassing. And I hope the players feel that as well because everybody's hurting. It's a hard one to take. And you're always judged by your performances in the big games against Celtic. And we're way off it. Individually, we were way off it on Saturday, and collectively, we were way off it. Talking about Steve Davis, I feel sorry for Davis in respect that it's not enough game time, and then you throw him into a game with that, where you know that they're going to be high energy and quick. You know, I think it's hard for it. And actually, he done okay, Davis, but
no signing anybody in deadline day.
If you've got things like that in your mind as a manager that you might use Davis in that a game like that magnitude going to Celtic Park, give him some more game time, you know, as well. You know, you can't just throw them in.
As if we're just throwing these guys in and hoping that they're going to do well and do the business.
You've made a great point about Tillman because it's a massive game. Not just physically, but psychologically. So he make the boy feel as comfortable as he possibly can. Play him in his position.
Well, especially when Rangers have only got 750 fans there as well. You know, so it's just everybody's against the
Mm.
11 Rangers players up there.
And you seen in the European game how emotional he was after the game. You know, so he looks as if he's that type of boy. So you try and make him feel as comfortable as possible, and that's what I think Charlie would maybe making that point. Don't play him in the wide area, play him in the middle where he's comfortable, and you get guys running about him with that pace and that desire and that hunger in the legs are fueled, even right to a certain extent as well. You need that.
And I'm not the biggest fan of Sakala, but he must have done something really wrong or something. Because no, he had a sniff. Even the cup game, he didn't even get involved.
So Charlie, how will he feel when he sees everything that's went on with Morelos, him going on before him?
Right.
So there's just some things I don't quite get.
Morelos still doesn't look fit.
No, and it's quite clearly he's not getting himself fit in a week. You know, so they've seen something over the course of 4-5 weeks, and then obviously made a decision not taking him to the PSV game, making it public. He's not fit. His attitude's not right. And then
1 week later, he's back in.
Aye, and Sakala, who, you know, he's limited in certain things, but one thing he's got energy and he's got pace.
There's Alex Rogers commenting about the keeper. He's saying the keeper was a scapegoat on Saturday. The defence was shocking. But I'm afraid I've been trying to give McLaughlin a chance, and I just think we need to get McGregor back. McGregor would have been shouting and screaming at that defence, commanding what they'd done after the first goal, the second goal, third goal. There was nothing. There was nothing.
Listen, there's games that I've watched and I've thought if a McGregor was in there, he would have saved that. I think he's a good keeper, John, but I don't think he's still as good as McGregor.
We've said that, haven't we?
I think we've covered that.
We've covered that a few times, and as I said on here, we have to stick by McLaughlin because he's been made number one. So we stick by him now. If Giovanni keeps him in, then we have to stick by him and support him. But I think personally, McCrory has to get a chance now. I think McCrory has to come in now because Griggsy's in the last year. McCrory, when he's ever going to get a chance? It has to be now. He's 25-year-old now. He's done his apprenticeship, you know.
Charlie, it just summed up the afternoon, didn't it? You know, with the mistake that he made, you know, passing it out for the back. You know, I don't know why he was trying to play a clever pass like that. You know, it's certainly into the centre of the park. I know Davis was wanting it, but it was never on. So you just listen. It's just a massive mistake, and it just summed up. No him, and it's easy to just point the finger at one player, but that's how I'm saying as a collective.
It was poor all round. It was poor all round, 100%.
Well, there's what Mark online. He's saying drop the keeper for the next game and you'll lose him altogether.
100%. It finishes him, and unfortunately, we don't want that to happen because he's a good goalkeeper, 100%. And where does his confidence go for there? If we stick by him, then we support him and we want him to do well, of course. But that's up to Giovanni what he's got to do. But for me, I love Griggsy. If Griggsy had another 5 years, he'd be playing in the game. He could be playing, but it's a difficult one because you will lose the boy, and I think it would break him. To be fair.
Well, there's Jack Wilson online saying he agrees with you. He said McCrory needs to get a chance now. But when would you actually start to bring him into the game? You know, would you start him against Aberdeen at the weekend? You know, or when do you bring him in?
It's a good question because we've got two massive games coming up.
But every game is massive because we're
tough,
5 points behind the league.
Tough games, aye. But what I would say in regards to that is you're at Rangers for a reason. One is that you're a top player, a top goalkeeper, but also that you should be able to handle it, Charlie, mentally. So he's been in the Scotland squad as well. He's obviously a terrific goalkeeper. I don't know, I've not saw enough of him. But if it was
he's highly thought of. It's just it reminds me of the Griggsy situation when Griggsy was younger. It reminds me of the exact same situation. So it's time for him. If there's got to be a change, then I wouldn't complain. Never would I complain if Griggsy was back in. But if McLaughlin stayed in and they give him a chance, then so be it. But McCrory's got to get a chance at some point.
Who would you start on Wednesday against Ajax, Derek?
In goals? Yep. McGregor.
Charlie?
I think you have to keep McLaughlin in just so you don't break him.
Aye.
I really do. I think you have to give him, because he's just come in, he's just started it as a number one. You have to stick by him. But as I say, I think McGregor's a better goalkeeper. But
no, I would definitely go just with The experience.
The manager has to make a hard choice.
And it is a hard choice, but sometimes it's a tough decision. But
there's no chance Giovanni will change it.
But for McLaughlin, sometimes as a player, you've just got to suck it up. He hasn't performed well.
John McLaughlin will play on Wednesday.
Well,
I think that as well.
But I would rather have McGregor in. I'd say that right now, but sometimes you've got to take that in the chin. Now you're saying it'll break him. Well, what age? He's an experienced goalkeeper as well. He's been on the block. So I think players, just my opinion, I think you should be able to handle that if you're dropped.
You're surprised, or we're surprised that Morelos was on the bench. So obviously something's happened. There's no other players brought in the transfer window.
What do you think of that with the
I just couldn't believe it.
Do you think we tried to get players and it didn't happen, or have you heard anything? Was there any?
I don't think we tried, to be honest with you.
Well, you've heard the manager saying he's happy with his squad. He's done his business early on, but with the playing in Europe and through the course of the season, well, already look at I thought that we're playing Sands, and their midfielder. We're stretched with Suter. Don't know when he's going to be back for injury. Davis as well, injured. So
Suter's supposed to be a latter part of the season, isn't it?
Aye.
It's quite scary. So it did need to be strengthened. There was money there. It's clear that there's money
there.
The
Rangers fans are not happy, obviously, because you've got the European.
I think obviously the last 10 years we have been hemorrhaging money.
Yeah.
So we've had to kind of fill that. I get that, understand that, but even one or two just to bring them in, even if it's, as I say, you have to bring one or two in that's going to come in and start. There's no use having ones that are just squad players only going to better us, but we definitely needed a left sider because it's only Barisic and the young boy who's not ready to play yet. That's our natural left-sided players.
Well, the problem is the last time we kind of get humiliated against Celtic, I think we went out and bought Kent. But
no, Ramsey.
Is it Ramsey? The time before that was Kent, but as well, we got Kent. But obviously we can't do that until the next transfer window, which could be too late by then.
We didn't just want to see players come in for the sake of it. Get players in that are not just squad players that are vying for a place in that starting lineup. And the money was there, and I think we should have. It'd be interesting. I mean, I've not heard anything, but in terms of, did the board make the money available? You've got to strengthen.
The thing with me is we get 23 million for Aribo, right? We lose 23 million for Bassey and Aribo. Yeah. We lost the two of them, right? Two of them are
big players.
Big players. Then Ajax get 80 odd million for Anthony. And there's not much different for the Dutch league to the Scottish league. So his value is that much compared, and Bassey's is that low. So we seem to get stung a wee bit, I think. There,
he's a massive miss, Bassey. He was that athleticism, that pace, that strength, that attitude. That's what we needed. We missed him badly in Saturday. We need that type.
With no aggression.
With
no aggression. There's aggression when you can just go and kick people, but that's not what you want. You want aggression as in winning the ball up against people, make them go back away, make them work to get out. We're back forward away back here. Our midfield were there, and our attackers were at the edge of their box, and they were just passing the ball in as it was.
Do you want to know what I used to love about Bassey? See, when he got forward and he would put in good deliveries, as soon as it broke down, he sprinted back. He didn't jog. And I watched it, and obviously I watched it the game hour again yesterday, and at times I see Tav jogging back. I see Barisic ambling back. That's what I loved about Bassey. It was you don't see it. He gets his delivery, but then if he's out his position, he'd sprint full out to get back into position and get set.
Right. See, on Friday, I don't know if you've seen Gio's press conference thing. He basically gave away what our team was going to be in the start as well.
I think
he gave away far too much, Aye, but listen, I'm just going to move on. Big Stuart Boyd, our mate we met in Seville, he's saying between transfers, UEFA Cup last year and Champions League, we've collected close to £100 million. I mean, so that's...
And that money has got to get reinvested, some of it, back into the squad, because, I mean, right, we're going to have to make comparisons. Look at Celtic squad,
But yeah, for looking at us, I don't know, for the fair play.
The fair play thing, aye. But I think that they're looking at about another 18 clubs or something. It's quite a normal. I don't think it's anything to worry about yet.
And so we had a bit short. So that
But
that money,
we've not
we
bought
should
anybody
invest-
really.
I know.
You should have invested in a couple of players.
We've not bought anybody for Davis and the young boy for Turkey. I think that's what we've bought in the last year and a half, maybe.
I don't know how it works. It's a strange kind of formula they kind of do.
And it could have been younger guys investing, going and buying some of the younger guys. You look at Tillman, of course, we've got him in loan. What is he, 20? That type at that round about that age that are not going to play all the time, but are willing to kind of listen and learn. You know.
Well, we were hoping up for Lowry, weren't we?
Mm.
Obviously.
There you go. I just think we should have went into the market because I was just coming back on Friday. If we'd been away, and I just expected something to happen, you know, at least one or two.
But see, Saturday, I looked at the teams, I thought they're no better than us, player by player.
And I said last week as well, both defences were a wee bit ropey as well, you know. So if anything, that would have been quite an open, high-scoring game, but I wasn't expecting that.
I don't watch Celtic anyway, so I don't know what they were, but they're obviously playing together as a team. They know how to play. They've got a formula that works for them, and we don't seem to have an answer for it.
Just everything was so fast, wasn't it? And we were just
that's
no ideas.
That's all you hear when people are talking about Celtic. It's how they come at the traps. They come flying at you. You've got to be ready for that. You know, and the manager in his interview had pointed that out and obviously gave that message to the players, but they didn't react. Why? Why did you not react? And then sometimes what Celtic have, they have a wee lull because you can't keep playing at that high pace, that high intensity. So you will at times be able to get a wee foothold in the game.
I think you're saying that the players didn't react. I think the reaction was they were hoping somebody else would react for them. Oh, he'll do that for me. He'll react better for this. He'll do this. He'll do that. And nobody really stood up to the challenge. And it was poor. It was poor to watch.
See, after such a big defeat like that, how would you get over that and move on to a game against like Ajax on the Wednesday? Like mentally, how do you? Because you must be pretty down after that.
So you get down. I don't. I'm only going to speak for myself. Of course you get a wee bit down, but you get angry as well. But you've got to kind of control that anger. But that will not leave your mind until you says it early, until you get that opportunity to go up against them again and play. It never leaves you. You know, it's they've got the big game on Wednesday, but I'm always speaking for myself. I wouldn't get it out of my head until you're right or wrong.
The thing is, I said we'll never play as bad as that again as we did in February. God almighty, it was worse.
And I remember back in February, I was embarrassed. And that's the way I kind of feel a wee bit. You know, maybe people listening in or whatever might think, you're going overboard, but it's got to hurt. So it has, you know, and you know we have got good players there, but they never turned up for whatever reason. And we're talking about that switching off and that. It's quite incredible, you know, watching that, how players at that level, that and getting coached should go out there and perform like that.
Charlie, like, what was your worst ever result playing with Rangers, and what did you do after it? You know,
well, our worst ever was like Juventus getting beat 4-0 at Ibrox. That was hard enough, but they were top draw. We weren't expecting to beat them, but we were expecting to get closer than 4-0. And even getting beat 1-0 at Rangers, it's not acceptable at times, and it hurts anyway whenever you lose a game. But I was very fortunate. I played in 12 Old Firm games and I never lost one, so I was
some achievement.
There you go.
So I was lucky that way. So
you brought your boots on Saturday.
No, to be fair, Eddie Kelly wouldn't have got me around the pitch for about 30 seconds. But it's just so hard to take, and the players must feel down. Like so, and we've seen Griggsy on the bench. He looked as if he was raging as well.
His face was tripping him, wasn't it? But they won it.
Well, look, I have to admit, I wasn't even wanting to do a show tonight because I was scunnered, and even when I text you this morning, you can tell straight away you are still angry about it.
Oh, horrible, man.
Oh, I just answered you that I would be here. But just a thumbs up.
Every person I see who supports the other side, good result Saturday, good result. You want to talk? Fuck it. Oh, excuse my language, but I really don't want to be in your company, or I don't want to listen to you. He's won, fair dues, right? See you later.
It's one of them sometimes, I don't know, see if you're out and about and somebody wants to catch your attention.
Well,
And
yesterday,
because you've been beat, you know.
My boys were playing yesterday, 09s, 13-year-old, and I'm after the game, then the fist pump or whatever by the kids after the game, and one of the big guys goes like to his 4-0. I'm like, right his neck.
I know. So that's what it's like, because I was out for a short period of time yesterday, and I just felt when a couple of people looked at me, I think they were looking as if they'd a bit of glee about them, bit of enjoyment. So I was like, I can maybe back home. I'm even going out the door.
And I was actually buzzing, and I was telling Charlie, my boy, he was playing with Wishy under 20s on Friday, and within minutes he get a player sent off, and then 25 minutes we get another player sent off. And we were playing against a decent Rossfield team, and we ended up winning 2-0. And I was like, yes, this is going to be a brilliant weekend. You know, and then Saturday, it was just torture.
Yes,
Football.
it was. That's it. It was torture.
Football, innit? But moving on to Ajax, you know, so we need to get focused for Wednesday's game. They've actually played 5 games in the league already. They've won 5. They've scored 16 goals and they've only conceded 3. So it's going to be a tough game, but most Rangers fans actually think we can do it, Charlie.
Well, if we play like
I'm
we
glad
played
you
on
asked him
Saturday,
first.
if we play like we played on
I've seen the way
Saturday,
you were staring at me.
play like we played on Saturday, we'll struggle big time because they'll keep the ball, we know that. But I think it does suit us when teams are coming on to us and we can sit in. Again, for some reason, the game on Saturday, it just bypassed everybody, but we seem to actually do well in Europe, as we've seen the last year and a half or last 3 years. We seem set up better for European games, which I don't understand. But this could be a long night on Wednesday if a few of the boys haven't got Saturday out their system.
Aye.
They're another level for PSV.
Yep.
So and it just says at the stats there, the way they've started the season, they're a top side, and we're a wee bit vulnerable at the minute. We will be confidence-wise, mentally as well, because that's got to take its toll, that game. So first and foremost, we want a better performance. You know, whether we win that game or not, debatable. I'm not so sure, but what I want is a reaction for Saturday. I want to see us better organised, more switched on, more intensity. And I just find it weird. I know we're talking about this game. I still can't get my... See, when you play an Old Firm game, it's like your senses are all heightened in that, and everything, your focus is there all the time. So that's how I can't get it out of my head how they were switching off at times. So on Wednesday, you're up against a really good side in their own territory. So if we don't up at 100%, we could get turned over. Big time.
Gio always seems to get it right, the tactics against European teams, right? But see, and I'm going back to the Celtic game on Saturday, they don't park the bus against the Celtic, you know, so and that's normally when we play decent.
Mm-hmm.
But we just, I don't know, I don't want to go back to that, but, you know, what's he so good in European football? You know, what's he got? Is it his tactics or what? Or?
I don't know, the team seem to play well, we seem to go up another level, and they seem to take it in a stride, which is great to watch, but still, Saturday, they've got to, as I say, they've got to get out of their system before Wednesday, because Wednesday's massive as well. We still want to try and qualify for the group, although it will be difficult, as we know. Before Saturday, it was going to be difficult. But if we turn that another performance like that, then we'll really struggle. But we have to think the players can pick ourselves up and go and get a good result on Wednesday.
I know, I just still can't believe that we never signed more players. You know, we're in the Champions League. It's a massive... I'm not saying we're going to win in Champions League, but we could have made a dent in it.
And now you're talking about players would have wanted to have come to Rangers because of that, because you're in the Champions League. And that's how I think that a few of the guys out there are kind of mystified that we didn't go there and at least test the water with a few of them. Because we had a wee pot of money. But there is a pot of money there. So invest it. Use it. Get these. I would maybe look at the kind of the young guys that are hungry, but as soon as you are in the Champions League, by the way, that's everybody. I'm saying everybody, but players want to come and play. They want to be in that tournament. So why we didn't go in there? And I think we do need strengthened. I think we're not as strong as we were last year. And in terms of you take Bassi and Aribo out of the team, obviously. I think we need to get a wee bit more athleticism and that quality that Aribo had.
And there's a few part loyal 260 saying the Turkish boy isn't going to cut it. He doesn't think, the Ridvan.
I think he's
Plus we've got so many injuries as well. We've not seen enough of him. You're right there.
He's young and he's hopefully for the future, and he'll settle in a bit quick. He'll settle in soon. Give the boy the chance to settle in new surroundings. Obviously, it's difficult coming from Turkey, I'd imagine, as a young boy and probably not speaking much English or whatever. But
he looks a different type, Charlie, for Bassey. I was expecting light for light, I thought, but he's totally different, isn't he?
But the thing is, we've lost two massive players who played every game. And we've no replaced them.
And Kamara, he could have been away the other day. Do you think that was maybe still on his head? Because there's Stevie one saying Kamara can't be lost. Don't want to play for Gers.
Well, you don't know, because the manager wanted to keep him, but we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Maybe there was a bid put in and wasn't good enough for Rangers to accept. But then the boy might be disappointed that he's not got the move that
he showed with his performance on Saturday. I think it looks like he's carrying a bit of weight as well.
He was inept. He just
Kamara always looked lean and fit and hungry, and he just doesn't. I don't know, because a couple of years ago, I honestly thought he was the best midfield player in the league. I honestly did.
Good.
Remember the tail end of last season, Charlie? How fit we looked in the games, going to extra time and still going. Well, where does that went?
Maybe it's taking its toll. The short pre-season they're getting, it's taking its toll, because it's the same ones that play every game practically. And Tav and Big Goldson having to come back the same. Mer Goldson, and I like Goldson. I really do like Goldson. But he doesn't look the same.
Something's happened this season. He's not even going up for challenges or anything.
No, it doesn't look as strong as it had been in the past.
And they were saying last year there was something in our coffee when we won 55. Maybe we need to get that coffee back. There's my mate Andy Pollock. He's saying we spent 10 million on two players and not even getting a game. Ben Davies, I think he's injured now, but
I think there's going to be an issue there with that boy, because he hasn't played a lot of football, and when you don't play a lot of football, you don't become battle hardened. You pick up all these wee niggly injuries, and so I think it might have been an issue there. We've obviously got an issue with Big Suter.
Players nowadays do seem to have for 10 days with a knock. You always had knocks and you played.
You're never 100% fit.
Your Barry used to play on with injections and everything, didn't he?
Aye, and that was probably you get some stupid advice for me. It was me, because the old school. There was part of that, but there was part of that, and I think this is a wee in the dark ages now. It was like man up. So in the dressing room, we used to take cortisones, injections, just to get you through games, where it had been your knee, your groin, or pain-killing injections, and I used to have diclofenac for fun. I know. A sandwich. It was a brufen sandwich we used to get.
Diclofenac sandwich.
And even with Barry, I used to say to him at times, like, just go on, mate, just get the old thing, mate, take the painkillers and get out there. I don't know if that's the right advice, but he was willing to do that.
No, I remember, Derek, you said one time, it was either you or Durante, if you're good enough, you're old enough. There's David Morrison saying, do we start giving McCann, King, etc. a chance?
Well,
if the guys who have come in on the better than them, yeah. Because obviously the kids want to better than Bassey and Aribo. We've seen that, and they've went on and done better. They're away to Premier League in England and Ajax, for vast amount of money. So now, if the guys we've brought in aren't good enough, then we have to give the kids a chance. We have to give them a chance if they're good enough.
We're playing a midfielder at centre half. Why not give the young boy King his opportunity? Why not? Charlie's talking about McCrory. Maybe knowing these big games coming up, the next two. I know you're saying every game is a big game, but these two away games, certainly at home.
As I've said about Sands, I think Sands will do well in midfield. Him and Lundstrom would do really good in midfield. The two of them getting right in about it, because the two of them, and Sands can actually pass the ball well. Sands is decent on the ball.
He's got good use of the ball.
And I think in there he's got good legs and he'll get a boot. I think it's just holding him back a wee bit, playing at centre back. Play the boy King in. Play him. That's why I'm disappointed that Katic didn't stay.
Balogun.
That was a strange one, Balogun. I still don't understand that.
I know. Who's it?
Went to QPR, didn't he?
But no, what was for next home game? Do we know? I know, but I'm just thinking about the boys you're talking about, McCrory, talking about King. Certainly, if you were going to give them their opportunity, play them at Ibrox, knowing away in 2 games like this, certainly know up at Aberdeen as well, because that's always a tasty. Tasty. I've witnessed it myself, so I have gone up to watch our Lewis when Rangers came calling. My God,
we've actually got a tough few games. Actually, we've got Aberdeen away Saturday, but then we're at home to Napoli, and then we're at home again to Dundee United. So Dundee United would be a good test.
Aye, and that's it. Just you don't want to throw them in. I'm saying away from home against these top players, these top teams. No talk about Aberdeen here. I'm talking about 2 European games. And give them their best opportunity, to shine and show what they're like.
These guys might flourish in these games as well, you know.
I'm just trying to think it for you. I know.
I get what you're saying.
I'm getting too old, aren't I?
No, but you know why you fling them in and then it can finish them, it can break them if they get a bad turn.
Mm-hmm. Because that's happened sometimes in the past. You throw the young boys in and they don't have a good game and you don't see them again. Some sink, some can swim.
Do you know, I'm just going to change the subject now.
Right.
Because
you're not getting back to the Celtic game, are you?
I'm getting depressed. No, actually, I'm going to give your gig a wee shout out because a few people are actually saying...
I'm looking forward to it. I tell you what I'm looking forward to. It's the Gallant Pioneer at the September weekend. It's Big Derek Johnson. Always enjoy his company and some of the stories that he tells is brilliant. And again, he's an icon, Derek Johnson. In 72 cup winner, and the stories he's got to tell about that. So I think I'll be carrying his luggage, shining his shoes, and just sitting and enjoying his parter.
His parter's brilliant, isn't it?
His parter, big DJ.
Big DJ.
You can't say anything without him cracking
just a joke. One-liners all the time.
Do you know mind the
not
time?
very funny one-liners.
Nah, because we travelled down together in
the motor.
In the motor, aye.
I wasn't a motorbike,
was it? Cart, nah. But do you remember he'd been cracking jokes all the way down? Then eventually he was telling us a true story. He was like, two of my brothers used to work in a tyre factory, but it went bust. And me and him started laughing.
We thought...
And he was like, no, that's a true story.
He's a good lad. So that's... was that the 24th?
24th, aye. So there's a few people in the chat saying they've been done. Me and Charlie were dropping subtle hints to Stan last week to get us dinner. So
that's the best Rangers pub. And for me, when you look at that beer garden they've got,
with the blue AstroTurf.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's absolutely top drawer.
Aye.
And John and the guys doing there, you always get a brilliant welcome. So
yes. I know. So John, get me and Charlie done.
Correct.
Right, Aberdeen.
He doesn't invite me.
I know. He watches as well. In fact, you know who else watches? John Hill over in Fuerteventura. So the time he gets in for the pub, it's about 3 or 4 in the morning and he watches it. So
you keep promising as a wee trip.
I know.
You go to Blackpool, we'll go to Fuerteventura.
We'll go to Fuerteventura. So John, I get it booked. No, I said to him last week actually, he said many Rangers fans, because he's got a Rangers supporters club over there, but most of them can stay over here.
And Nizzy's got his bar there in Lanzarote, the terrace bar.
European tour.
Up there, aye. Nizzy's doing really well, isn't it? That's cracking on, that wee bar. It's always busy, which is brilliant. Brilliant to see Nizzy doing great.
Right, before we talk about the Aberdeen game, I'm just going to quickly put this up, but we actually answered this a few weeks ago, but John McKnight is saying, asked Eric if we inquired about Lewis during the summer. But you answered that the other week.
There was nothing, never tested the water. So he's having to be patient over there in Bologna at the minute. Missed the first 2 games through suspension. And he's not played a part in the last couple of games. He made his debut in the San Siro, but he's going to need to be patient, train hard. It's me that's not the patient one. He's actually telling me off. The other day, telling me that I need to calm down and be patient. But he's so laid back, so he is about it and so confident.
New culture, new learning from that saying.
Yeah, by the way, he should try a wee trip to Bologna. That is stunning.
Well, Charlie, he did say that it was going to take us, didn't he?
Aye, the
we've not forgot that.
Cafes and wee bars. Oh, it's
what kind of fan base have they got?
I tell you what, see there was I think it was about 15,000 of their fans in the other night that I watched on Thursday night. I tell you what, they create a brilliant atmosphere. You don't really get it when you're watching it on the telly, but see when you're there, they sing from start to finish. They don't give the players abuse. they actually wait to the final whistle, then they vent their anger either, and they don't give the ref abuse either. They wait to the end of the game. It's kind of must be something in their culture. It's like us, we give everybody pelters right for the off, don't they? But they don't. They support the team all the way through. That's all they do. They sing, they chant, they support. But if they're not happy at the end of it, which they weren't the other night, they vent their anger. Aye. It's a different way. It's a different experience.
So it was a good trip anyway, aye.
That was a brilliant trip, and I'll be over short. I'll be getting back over shortly.
I know we will. Right, Aberdeen, do we change the setup? Do we change the team, Charlie?
We can't have no players, have we? I'm not fit to play. So,
Good point.
He's going to go with what he's got, and it's obviously Sakala's knowing his thoughts. And as I say, I'm not the greatest fan of Sakala, but he has got pace to burn, and he'll give you the odd goal, he'll give you an assist. So maybe he might come in at some point.
Scott Wright as well should start, I think.
Scott Wright, maybe. Well,
I'm
just disappointed with the transfer window, to be honest with you.
He'll be up for it, Scott Wright, getting back here. And we know the reception we're going to get up at Aberdeen. They absolutely dislike us with a passion. So they do. So and they tend to up their game against us. That's
and
clear.
Jim Gooden's our manager as well, so he's going to.
It's clear to see. Aye, I mean, so they'll be up for it, and they've had a good start to the season, Aberdeen. So they'll have a bit of confidence about them. But we've got to turn up, just like we saying Wednesday night. This is our bread and butter. We're expected to go up there and beat Aberdeen. I'm not saying it's not going to be a stroll in the park, far from it. But if we're at it, the right attitude switched on, all the things that should be a given, we can see off Aberdeen.
We must get a reaction after Saturday.
Well,
even the players, they must be sitting, Charlie. Even your own performance, when you've played and you've maybe not played as well as you wanted to have, it goes hour and hour your mind. You keep playing it back, and it's until you play the next game you can put a few of these things right. So think about your own game. You know, don't just dismiss it. Don't look to blame other people. As I say, it's a collective thing as well. So
Saturday was collective, definitely. Definitely.
Right, we'll move on. We've actually teamed up with Who Knows Wins. We've done a little league on Saturday for the game. Ross Walker took the pot, so I think it was just over £60 he won. But the more people that play, the more money you get. So this week, we've done an actual league, all about the Gers League. So we'll quickly go through. You just need to tell us who you think's going to win, lose or draw. Right, so Aberdeen versus Rangers. I'm going Rangers.
Oh, Rangers.
Obviously.
Aye.
Kilmarnock versus St Johnstone.
I'm going draw.
I've done St Johnstone.
What?
I've done St Johnstone.
Well, you Nicky Clarkson.
That's right, you just went, didn't he? Yep. Ross County versus Motherwell.
I'll go Ross County.
I went Motherwell.
I'm going to go Motherwell.
Dundee United versus Hibs. I went a draw.
I'm going to go Hibs.
I'm going to go draw.
Ayr United versus Partick Thistle.
By the way, Ayr United have started the season brilliant. Top of the table at the minute. Partick, the good away win up at Arbroath.
But we're in the Thistle Stadium, so I went Thistle.
I went draw.
You went draw.
I'm going to go Thistle.
Aye. Mm-hmm. Your mate Cherry wouldn't be happy if you went.
Aye, I'm going to go Thistle.
Queen's Park versus Morton.
I'm going another draw.
I'm going to go Queen's Park.
I went Morton. So
if you want to early ship there, which is good.
But we'll need to watch it back next week and see who get the most points.
I went Rangers, Kilmarnock draw, Ross County to win, Dun United draw, Ayr draw, and Queen's Park draw.
So if you want to take part, all you need to do is download the app, which is called Who Knows Wins, and then search for All About the Gers, and the league pin is MPVZN3, and it's a £5 entry, and whoever gets all the most points wins all the money.
Gets the dough. Good.
You know, so
excellent.
That's how it works. So we'll do predictions for Ajax and then score prediction for Aberdeen versus Rangers. Charlie. I'll put him in it all night tonight.
Aye, good.
One each. I'll take one each.
Aye.
I'd take one each all day, but I hate to say it. I think we'll get beat. I think we might get beat by a couple of goals, and I know it sounds negative. That's just purely in what I witnessed on Saturday, and you're going away from home up against a good team. I think I'm just looking for a better performance. but I don't think we'll win that.
God,
I know. I hate to say it, but I'm just being honest.
James has just put something up on our, which is he's saying the sheep go above us. I can say it's the sheep go above us if they beat us.
They'll not
That's hard
beat
for
us.
me to speak.
They'll not beat us.
Nah, I don't think they will. James, so we'll be all right. But I'm going to say one each Wednesday.
Listen, I love that, but at the moment, maybe it's just the way I'm feeling. I don't see it.
I'm going 1-4 on Saturday.
Aye. James is going one each for both games. So I'm going to say 3-1 for us on Saturday.
I think we'll win. But it's going to be tough. But we'll certainly, I think we'll get enough about us. And as I said earlier, it's our bread and butter. We've got to get back. We can't afford to slip to another draw. Another couple of points gone. We just can't afford. So we need to win.
Well, guys, that's the end of the podcast. Probably one of the most depressing podcasts we've ever had to do. But we need to cover everything, don't we?
Sore, stomachs sore, knees sore.
It's just
everything's just hurting.
But the thing is, listen, we do feel that, but we just need to get behind the boys, And I know we're all feeling done, but we need to get them back to the level that they can play. So we just need to get behind everybody, all the boys.
So we'll be back again next week. Hopefully we'll be a lot happier and we'll beat Ajax and we'll beat Aberdeen and we'll be ready for Napoli.
100%.
Right. But thanks again for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook, everything, notifications. Just go mental and see you next week.
Cheers.
Think you know sports? It's you against the nation. Join our national leagues. Low stakes, big prizes. Don't worry about getting each pick correct. The more you know, the more you win. Make your picks, lock them in, sit back and enjoy. Whatever the sport, we've got you covered. Who knows wins.